And I'm Megan from Southern Branding.
And today we were going to be talking about stocking stuffers and quick add-ons, but I texted Megan this morning and said, I am just not feeling it. I need like some just, kind of personal, I don't know, topics and not to really talk about work for once. So she said, let's wing it. So I think that's what we're going to do. Why don't we talk about like what you're struggling with your business currently, because I'm sure other companies are kind of struggling with it as well.
Yeah, I was thinking of after you texted me, I was like, okay, maybe we could talk about like things that you're doing to like, because aside from work, like this is just getting into busy season, right? Like even, the holidays are just busy, no
Whether
matter
you're
no matter what
in
you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whether you're in our business or not, it's just a
right.
busy time of year.
Absolutely. And especially then with kids and school, and there's all these different events and there's conferences. And yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just busy no matter what. And I found myself yesterday, our office has been turned upside down because we had that holiday showcase event that we did. And um, so I like did a deep dive yesterday, and we had huge trash bags full of stuff, like just throwing things out and clearing things out. And so my space feels better,
Mhm.
which are you getting that echo? Can you hear that?
I heard a little like crackling, but it's kind of,
Okay.
I think it's gone.
Okay. Anyway, so like when your space feels better, you just feel better too. So I have to do that at home, which I'm not
I
looking
love
forward
that.
to. But, it does help for sure. Trying to get
No,
things organized.
I'm so glad you said that because I would say I'm a pretty tidy person, but as life gets away from you, it's just a slippery slope with that. But you're so right. Whenever I do kind of like clear out my pantry or go through
Yeah.
my closet and donate a bunch of clothes that I just have been holding on to, but I doesn't spark joy for me when I, wear it. I just think letting go of things and kind of freshening up the way that you're, putting things out or your furniture or whatever it is, the way you're, organizing it, it really does give you kind of a fresh feeling of
Yeah.
accomplishment and,
Yeah.
a fresh start.
Well, I can feel good about working. Like we have a really nice office space. Like this is our office space. Like we have a nice office space, and we have art and like things that like art brings me joy. Like I love original art. Like I could feel energy from that. And so I like to surround myself with things like that. And even if it's just like got some dried lavender on my desk, I've got the essential oils going, just something to like create the space a little bit. But so we're about to have, going through kind of a more intense, I don't want to say hard time, but a more intense time business wise, just because,
Mhm.
well, it's just more intense right now. Like everything's a shit show. And, clients
Well,
believe us when we're telling them like, yeah, we can't pull
I,
off miracles anymore. Like it's crazy right now. So everything's just more intense. But one of our account managers, our other Megan, who's been with us, she's moving to Texas. So this week is her last week, and we're sad about that and haven't been able to find a replacement. And so, I was telling you about that, like how crazy that's been. Because I've done hiring, in my restaurant and hotel management days, from upper level management positions to, dishwashers and everything in between. And then obviously here with, our admins and account managers and sales people, and, bringing on people onto our team. And I've never seen anything like this. Like it's been so crazy trying to, people aren't showing up for interviews, like just day up, just don't show up or say they're sick. And or send your resume, apply, but then, no other follow up. So I don't know, like, is this just the new way of the world with unemployment and the employee marketplace right now? Like, it's kind of crazy.
Well, Megan and I always talk for a long time before we start our show. And I was actually talking to her as well. And this kind of goes hand in hand with what she's saying is last night I was reading an article about how China, they get most of their energy source through coal, burning coal. And so to help with the environment, the government's starting putting stipulations on how much energy you can use monthly. So a lot of factories are closing, which a lot of, our products come from overseas, and then we have the whole shipping container thing that's going on. But when I told Megan, when I was telling my husband last night about it and kind of stressed about it, he's like, everyone's going through this. And so just remember that. He's like, what's going to happen is, a lot of people like the thought of American made, but they don't want the cost
Pay for
associated
it.
with it.
Right.
But, when things like this start happening, it kind of forces change and forces people to adapt to a new way. And so, as Megan's saying, she cannot hire anyone right now. So the market is going to have to adjust, because this isn't going to work for anyone. So either pay is going to increase, or working like that virtual kind of working situation is going to kind of become the norm. And we're just experiencing it firsthand how it's playing out.
Yeah. Figuring out how our business needs to transition. So it's fluid. We'll say that.
Yeah. But it doesn't make it any less stressful or any less real that we're all kind of experiencing this together. And I think Megan said it before on one of our shows, and it's stuck with me, is like just being kind, because everyone in their own way is experiencing some kind of challenge.
Totally.
And it's just the times right now.
Yeah. We're also, so with Hayden, with our son, he's 11. So he plays football. So this is the first year he's doing tackle football at school, which has been a whole thing. But then also his main sport is baseball, like loves baseball. So we're also doing ball, which is tournaments. So, traveling tournaments, but they're all like local, close by. So our weekends, that's what we do every weekend. So this sport, like he's 11 and he's booked, Monday is a football practice, Tuesday is a baseball, Wednesday is another baseball practice, Thursday is a workout, Friday is an off day, and then the weekend is. And so last night it was, we were talking about that and how I think we're all just ready for a period of rest. And so I'm really, even though that the work side of it's about to get even more intense, I'm really looking forward to, mid-October, November, when personally though, things will slow down. And I think that will also help. So, for me right now, it's just trying to figure out those places where I can eliminate some things and then creating spaces to take care of myself.
Well, I think it's just kind of ironic that when COVID first hit and we were all quarantining, everyone, I felt like there was this sense of kind of being forced to slow down, but in a weird way, it almost flipped on itself and made everything more, I don't know, like you're always busy. Everyone I talk to in any job, like a lot of my clients or whatever that work in corporate America or whatever, FedEx guys, UPS guys, I mean, everyone, grocery store, healthcare workers. I mean, it's gone from when it first happened. Now it's almost like everyone's overworked constantly.
Well, so you and I have talked about this, and I was actually thinking about this earlier. So until it's like, as a culture, we value, your success is measured by how busy you are, how much time you're putting in, so if you're a hard worker, it's really about like, are you working 17 hours a day? And so I catch myself doing it. I was even doing it last night. Like it was 6:00 and I was sending, an email about something, and my client was emailing me back too. Like we were, back and forth. And I was like, like at some point we have to catch ourselves and stop doing those things. So we quit setting those expectations, like I reply to emails on the weekends and I try, but it's so hard to disengage like that, because
with cell phones and
and you feel like, and we're all competing after business. It's not like this is just handed to us, right?
Yeah.
So it's figuring out that balance with the level of, service that you want to, provide. And then, but also working with clients that understand and have those same values of the work-life balance too. Like I'm becoming more aware of that.
I was in my office at home yesterday, and my husband had come into the office, and I was, I was working on things that I probably didn't need to work on, things that I had put on the back burner because
Yeah.
I had hired an assistant 6 weeks ago, and he's finally like really in the groove of things. And so I have a lot more free time on my hands, which I'm not used to. I'm used to working, like 60 hours a week and working at night and weekends and all this. And so now I have all this free time on my hands. And my husband was like, you kind of seem down in the dumps. And I was like, I was like, I'm just not that busy. And he's like, well, you know what you should do instead of staring at your computer? Why don't you go for a walk? Why don't you read a magazine? Why don't you relax and enjoy being a business owner and not just find things? He's like, what are you doing right now? I'm like, I'm working on pictures for my website that I'm redoing. And he's like, do you need to? He's like, and that just points back to Megan saying, we live in this kind of society that's like, the harder you work, the more hours you put in.
Mhm.
I own my own business, but yet I'm in front of my computer, just like someone's looking over my shoulder, giving me a grade,
Mhm.
from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. I don't take a
Yeah.
lunch break. I mean, and
Yep.
it's just funny that like, I can't do that for myself. I can't say, hey, I'm not that busy today. Why don't I, you
Well,
know,
but Christina, it's not even that you're not that busy. It's that you're not going 90 to nothing nonstop. Like you
yeah,
have now a consistent, what might be, whatever the word normal means, but like
yeah,
you're doing a 40-hour week, maybe a 50-hour
yeah,
week instead of the
yeah,
70-hour
yeah,
week, you know?
yeah.
So yeah, you're still busy and productive and contributing and successful and all of those things, you just
Well, and so I don't know if this ever happens to you, Megan, but this happens to me, I would say twice a year, maybe more, is I'll get into this funk where a little negative thought will enter my mind, and it can
Mhm.
be anything that sets it off. I'm not even sure what exactly sets it off. Like I had a really big order that I was working on, and it just ended up not happening, which is totally fine. And that happens all the time. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like the domino that just started it in my mind for holidays. And so I started having this negative thought, and then my mind just starts getting really fear based and like scarcity based and like, just really negative. And I know it's not healthy. And so what I try to do is I try to catch myself when I'm doing it, but you can't obviously you can't force yourself. So there's this book that I read once in a while, but it always helps me get me out of my funk. And so I just started it this morning again. I reread it. It's on Audible. But it's Gabby Bernstein's Super Attractor, and it's just about positive thoughts and like,
Yeah.
kind of manifestation and all that kind of stuff. I know it sounds hokey, but do you go through that, and then what do you do to get yourself out of that?
So, I mean, I've talked about this before, but here's my post-it note that really is like on my computer. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I think that gratitude is a practice. And, we've had conversations about that before. But I think that to have, so it's, we've said this before, and it goes back to the Brene Brown teachings with, in order to have a joyful life, then you have to have a practice of gratitude, and you
Mhm.
can't have one without the other. And what the key word, like the important part and takeaway there for me, is it is a practice. So just
Mhm.
like anything else that you want to get better at, you have to consistently and consciously do it and repeat it. So putting little things like that, so that for me is a reminder of gratitude, and trying to search out and practice those things, because it is so hard to get, or so easy rather, to get really bogged down in all of the negative that's out there right now.
Yeah.
um I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot, right? Everywhere we look.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think having that practice of gratitude is hugely important right now.
Um, and I was just thinking while you were saying all of that, just about everything we've talked about this episode, but I feel like there's almost, the great resignation is going on or whatever right
Yeah.
now and I almost feel like there's just a shift in people feeling overworked and wanting to prioritize their life. And I just feel like COVID, I'm trying to see the silver lining. COVID, obviously, it's not something that I'm very stoked on. It's been going on almost 2 years, but I almost feel like it's a catalyst for a change in the world in so many different ways. And it's painful. Change is painful. Change and growth is painful. Whenever I go through a really hard time in life, whenever I come out of it, I'm always in such a better place, and I've always gained so much, but doesn't change that portion of growth was usually not easy.
Yeah.
It was usually painful.
For sure. So there's this whole, it comes from a lot of different places, but, or a lot of different points of view on it rather, but talking about, so everything with COVID in the world and the situation is really a cry for a return to the feminine. So more,
I've heard that.
Yeah. So more feminine energy, and that's really what we need to be able to heal, and especially as a society. So just, you've got the earth and then our culture. So I think that's also really interesting. That could be a whole nother topic. Maybe we just talk about that and not record it.
We probably will. So going into the holidays, you were mentioning earlier, that does become a really busy time of year. And then you later switched and said you were looking forward to that time of the year because of the more of the sports related kind of.
Personally, for me, it slows down. And then also it's that time of year. So Chad is a huge hunter, like Arkansas is the hunting capital of the world. And so that starts in November also. So he is gone a little bit more. Yeah. He's working remotely, doing other things. And so my house is just quieter.
Yeah.
And then Hayden won't have sports and things going on. So there's not as much of the going. So although work will be more intense, and I will be working, more, the space for me to do it will be calmer, if that makes sense.
And I don't want to get all philosophical, even though we were kind of doing that, but that's fine. There's this book I read, and now I can't remember the name of it. It has the word boss in it, but it's specifically for women business owners and especially creatives. And it's one of the first books I read when I started my business. And they equated your business to going through the same thing as seasons. So, like spring is kind of like you're sowing all the seeds and blah, blah, blah. And then summer and fall is when you're harvesting all of your work and then winter's kind of very slow and dark and it's more introverted. And that's when you're working on your strategy. And so it's interesting because I kind of feel like, I feel like I'm naturally kind of starting to go through that. I'm kind of like doomsday. Oh, I'm slow right now, but it's almost like I'm kind of entering that winter period for my business, where I'm trying to figure out how I want to grow and change and what the next chapter is going to be for.
You're hibernating to come up with the plan for how you're about to go big.
Yeah. So
it's all very, very interesting.
Yeah. So, is there anything that you are going to commit to? Here's my question. What can you commit to yourself to make space and time for your own self-care in the coming, as my old work used to always say, it was promo place. They used to always say, winter is coming from Game of Thrones in regards to holiday ordering season in the promo industry. Yeah. So how will you take care of yourself as winter is coming?
Well, I think one big, so I was talking to somebody else about this, this has been part of my commitment. And so this fits right in with this. So I've been trying to carve out times to do little things for myself, like reading and that sort of thing. And I think I even said this on the last one, like I'm always listening to a book, but then, trying to like read physical book where I'm like, I want it to integrate. Right. But a lot of times what I'll end up doing is, I'm reading and then I might reread it to try to, cause I'm used to speed reading. So then I might reread it to try to like, okay, wait, what did I just read again? And, to really get the message. But then, and then when I talk about it with somebody a week or 2 weeks later, it's still like, it's not totally integrated because I haven't done it consistently. So I'm trying to, like every other day, like carve out, even if it's just 5 minutes for myself of going through and reading, highlighted passages or whatever it may be from the current book that I'm reading. Just so it will
What is the current book?
settle. It's The Gifts of Imperfections.
Oh, you are reading that
Yeah.
one. You're not listening to it.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
reading that one and rereading that one and
Cool.
highlighting and underlining and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I do find with some books that, because I love to listen to books as you do as well, because I'm always doing stuff. I'm
Yeah.
multitasking all the time, but there's certain books that I do feel like having the actual book and being able to highlight and like write notes and really engage with it makes such a difference.
Yes.
But you just don't know that until you kind of start listening to it. So I love that you said all that, because that's kind of going hand in hand with what I'm doing as well. This morning, I haven't been making time because I've been working from home a lot, to be honest with you. And so when I'm working, I don't listen to books while I'm working because I don't feel like I can give my full attention to both tasks. So this morning while I was doing my makeup and after I took a shower, I put in my, Bluetooth, little headphones and listened to the book the Super Attractor. And it was a great way to start my day, almost like to start my mindset. But I also love the idea of like actually reading a book. So I think what I'm going to try to incorporate is that listening in the morning while I'm getting ready to set my day, and then actually reading a book, because I have a tendency to get on the internet and read news and stuff before bed,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
just not healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm like reading about China last night. I'm like, oh. And so anyway, but I think I'm going to start trying to read and at least give myself 10 minutes of reading. Also, I have not been prioritizing meditation whatsoever. So I feel like making that a priority again. And then I used to love cooking, haven't been cooking for several months. Like I just throw it together. Like, I mean, I still cook, but I don't try new recipes and do things that I really would enjoy. And so I bought a new cookbook this past weekend at Barnes and Noble. And so like trying 2 recipes a week, as long as it doesn't become
You're
stressful.
a cookbook person? Like you go through, yeah.
I'll do both. I could do both, but I love cookbooks. It's embarrassing how many cookbooks I have at my house.
Okay. Can we talk about really quickly, what TV show are you watching?
Oh my gosh, yes, we can. So me and my husband have a tendency to have a show that we'll watch together, if not a couple. And we usually try to have like a funny show and then like a serious show, but right now we're out of funny shows. So if you have any recommendations, put them in. If you have shows in general recommendations, put them in the comments. But we are watching, we love foreign shows. I don't know why. And so we're watching Fauda on Netflix, which is about kind of like it's an Israeli like special ops team. And every season is a different mission that they're on in the West Bank.
Okay.
It's pretty intense, but it's really good. And so that's what we're currently watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm season 4, episode 7, almost done with Handmaid's Tale.
Oh God. Okay. Yes. I've watched that. I watched it during when football season started a couple years ago, and I binge watched it. And let me tell you, I mean, I don't want to get political here, but there are so many comparisons or parallels to Gilead as there are to some certain states in the United States. It boggles my mind, but that show is amazing. It's disturbing, but it's amazing.
It's so disturbing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then the first, because I just started watching it, I don't know, like a month ago.
And you're on season 4 already. So you're already done with it almost.
Yeah, I'm almost done with it. I'm going to be so sad because I'm so hooked, but
yeah, she's a great actress.
Yes.
She's a really good. Have you watched Mayor of Easttown? We gotta do a whole show with like recommendations on TV shows, because we're kind of like a crime. Like as a couple, we like a good crime mystery action show.
Yeah.
And then me on my own, I can binge watch so many just random things. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to a Saturday in bed with no sports, been binge watching Netflix. That's
you mean because Chad will be watching sports?
no, a Saturday with no sports. So like
Oh, me.
there's no baseball tournament, football going
I
on.
got you.
Like I don't have to get up. We're not going somewhere. Like just a slow, leisurely day.
Is it Chad a big football fan?
Yeah. Yeah. Huge.
Josh as well. You know, he went to UT. He's from Texas. So, I mean, I almost do like when college football starts because he's more of a, he'll do both, obviously, but he's definitely a college football guy. And I actually really look forward to it because it gives me a lot of me time because he's literally watching
That's
football
how that's
all day
that's how
long.
I am with hunting season. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, it's almost November. Yes. Yes. And because we only have one child, so we just have Hayden
Yeah.
and he loves to do all those things too. So I get a lot of
That's
quiet
cool.
time. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, okay. So starting next month, every week we're bringing to you a supplier that we work with and really trust and love. And we will be interviewing them every week, a different supplier, and they will be coming with ideas that they have deep inventory on. So if you're late to the game, which I think a lot of you might be, because I have not been getting the orders that I've been.
I hope that's why. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so really, you should definitely tune in all of October every week because you'll want to see what's out there because we are running out of time.
We're totally running out of time. And even from our holiday show that we did, there are already we're having to tell people left and right. Yeah, sorry, no longer available. What's your next choice? Like, yeah.
So heed the warnings. I know you guys hear them every week. So yeah, we will see you next week. Bye.
Okay, bye.